afternoon. Please welcome the mayor of the Village of Hempstead, Waylon Hobbs, Assemblymember Taylor Darling, Senator Kevin Thomas, the Commissioner of the New York State Department of Transportation, Marie-Therese Dominguez, the Executive Director of the Long Island Federation of Labor, Ryan Stanton, the President of the Nassau-Suffolk Building Trades Council, Maddie Arasich. And please join me in welcoming the 57th Governor of the great state of New York, Governor Kathy Hochul.
Greetings, it's a great day in the Village of Hempstead. I am glad to welcome New York State first female governor, the Honorable Kathy Hochul. Let's give her a hand. On behalf of the over 60,000 residents in the incorporated Village of Hempstead, which is the largest village in New York State, we are excited to have you here. We're excited to hear the announcement that you're going to make, and we're looking to see great changes through partnership. I've learned after my first year in office that real government takes partnership, and I'm excited about the partnership we have in New York State, our Senator Thomas, our Assemblywoman Darling, and of course, our governor. Thank you, and welcome to the Village of Hempstead.
Hi, everyone. I was so excited to get here. I didn't wait for my announcement, but I'm so happy to be here with each of you in our beloved village, this Village of Hempstead, and I want to recognize some very important people, which all of us are, in the audience. I want to recognize our Senator Kevin Thomas, for being here today and being my amazing partner in the Village of Hempstead, Senator Anna Kaplan, Senator John Brooks, Senator Jim Gorin, Assemblymember Chuck Levine, Assemblymember Phil Ramos, Assemblymember Gina Saletti, Commissioner Marie-Therese Dominguez of the New York State Department of Transportation, Kevin Law, Nassau County Legislator Debbie Millay, Nassau County Legislator Carrie Salages, Suffolk County Minority Leader Jason Richburg, Town of Hempstead Senior Councilwoman Dorothy Gooseby. You heard from our mayor, Mayor Waylon Hobbs, Maddie Arasich of the Nassau-Suffolk Building Trades Council, Ryan Stanton of the Long Island Federation of Labor, all of our brothers and sisters in labor who are here with us today. Give them a hand. And Dr. Susan Poser of Hofstra University. Thank you all for being here. So I am dressed like this because I'll be working with our governor to fill potholes on the Meadowbrook State Parkway. Who here has hit a pothole on the Meadowbrook State Parkway? Okay, so we are here. I spoke with our governor a few months ago and let her know the needs of the 18th Assembly District. We need school buses for our Hempstead students, investment in our schools, investment in our business districts, investment in our workforce, and investment in our infrastructure. Ironically, while I was having that conversation, I was at Firestone repairing a tire as a result of hitting a pothole. So $600 later, our governor committed to me that we would undertake massive road repairs, even if we have to fill potholes ourselves. I've been dying to put this suit on. Thanks to my fight for pothole repair, I have been coined the pothole princess of New York State because I'm so committed to this cause. And yes. Let's segue to the budget. It took a while, but New York's 2023 budget had some great wins for Long Island. And the budget lines I am most proud of are the $457.6 million in increases to our school aid for our Long Island students. It's amazing. $1 million to support community-based not-for-profits that provide housing assistance, community renewal activities, and rental subsidies in Long Island, and the creation of the homeowner tax rebate credit, providing relief to an estimated 494,000 property tax paying households. We need that here on the island, so I'm very, very excited about that. And it's just clear with this budget that we have a governor who prioritizes our students and the hardworking people here on the island. Now, I've visited all 50 states here in America, and I can say with experience, there are many reasons New York is known as the Empire State. We are smart, we're strong, and I'm certain we could exist on our own without the rest of the United States. So what type of leader does an empire need? An empire needs a leader who is brilliant, innovative, kind, collaborative, relentless, and consistent. We need a leader who wakes up every day and pushes New York to be more fair and better for all New Yorkers, regardless of zip code. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe we have found that leader in our 57th governor. Please join me in this historic moment as we welcome the first female governor of the state of New York, Governor Kathy Hochul.
Thank you, everyone. Yeah, we had a little schedule change when I flew down from Albany, and because of the wind, we were like, whoa, and we had to go way out here and out there, so we're a little behind schedule. So we're going to do the potholes afterward, because I said I do not want to leave all these wonderful people waiting a second longer, so we're going to get out there as soon as we're done. So thank you, pothole queen, princess, whatever you want, empress. You can be the empress, whatever you like, whatever you like. So thank you, and I do want to acknowledge some people here today. Taylor Darling, for her extraordinary leadership, as well as this incredible delegation. I got to know the members of the Long Island delegation probably more than anywhere else, because they are nonstop, relentless in their pursuit of doing good for the people they represent. I saw them nonstop. I invited them for a nice meal at the governor's mansion. You think that's nice? No, the next day they're at me again. We want this, we want this, we want this. Like, okay, so you got my attention. But I also want to tell you that I also knew Long Island so well from all those years as lieutenant governor. And I had a chance to see each of you in action in your districts and how hard you fight for them. And so it was easy for me to say, how can we work together to help the people of Long Island? And I believe that this budget, this transformative budget, accomplishes just that. So I do want to give a shout. I know a lot of people are recognized, but I do want to recognize the members of your delegation who fought so hard and continue to fight so hard for you. Again, Kevin Thomas, so proud to be in your district. Kevin Thomas, let's give him a round of applause. Senator Anna Kaplan, let's give Anna Kaplan a round of applause as well. Where's Anna? Oh, Anna's over here. John Brooks, Senator John Brooks has joined us. Thank you. Senator Jim Gorin is here as well. Senator Gorin. Assembly Member Chuck Levine is here. I see Chuck over there. Assembly Member Phil Ramos. Thank you. Assembly Member Gina Saletti. And also many, many other individuals. And I do want to thank our mayor. 1 year on the job. What a year. What a year this has been for you. Great to see you, Mayor Hobbs. As well as we're joined by someone I've nominated to be the chairperson of Empire State Development. So senators, let's move along a little faster now. Let's get the approval done. And that would be Kevin Law, the former head of the Long Island Association. You're also going to hear from, and also our Town of Hempstead Senior Council Member Dorothy Gooseby. I've seen at many events. Great to see you here as well. We will be also hearing from some members of the labor community, because I hope they're rested up. They're going to have so much work to do under this budget. So we're going to be hearing from Maddie Arasich, the Nassau-Suffolk Building Trades Council President, as well as Ryan Stanton, Long Island Federation of Labor Executive Director, who is filling in for John Durso at this time. So let's go through this presentation. I think you're going to like what you see, and let's get started. Also, I'm going to mention the new woman president of Hofstra University. I let her, Susan Poser, I want to thank her. Susan, I informed her that I'm one of the alum, in a sense that I was able to give a commencement address, and in return they gave me an honorary student award. I'm now a member of the family, so I'm really proud of that. I also want to ask, is Linda Shulman here? Is she here? Linda, where are you? Linda, I just want to tell you that when we worked on our public safety initiatives, I had you and your family in my mind and in my heart. So I want to thank you for your tireless leadership, championing smart gun safety initiatives, not just here in the state of New York, but throughout our country. Let's give Linda Schulman. So now we'll get started. We are about to be at Kennedy Memorial Park. We'll be out there, but I know Long Island. I know what you talk about. I've been to your barbecues. You talk about the potholes all the time. Everybody's complaining about potholes. No one has hit more potholes in the state of New York than I have, because I've traveled 372,000 miles, not by plane, all on the road. And so I've had a personal encounter, and I said, they're the most welcoming. They're giving me this big welcome when I'm on Long Island, because they're enormous. So we're coming at them, and so we talk about potholes all the time. Also, you can't go to a single event on Long Island, not talk about the Islanders. So that is something I've come to know, the affection that people have, and finally we brought them home. But also you talk about property taxes, right? Yeah, you talk about them a lot. Let's talk about them here today, because these are the issues that we're going to be focusing on and making sure that people know what our focus is, and that is on these very initiatives. So we have a $221 billion budget. I will tell you that there are a number of initiatives in here that are funded by one-time only investments that came from Washington to help us deal with the pandemic. So they're here this year. They're not going to be here next year. So that is why our budget has a number like this, because we are so fortunate with President Joe Biden and Majority Leader Senator Schumer and our leadership who supported it. Not everybody in our delegation supported it, but those who supported our infrastructure investments, et cetera, and our support for COVID recovery, they helped us get on our feet. That helps people who couldn't make their rent payments. It helps people who can't pay their utility payments. And so that's why our budget has higher numbers than expected, because we actually had this one-time amount of money, and we were able to put aside a tremendous amount of money for future rainy days as well. So we're going to continue making investments today that are going to be historic. We talked a lot about potholes, and I said, how much money should we put toward potholes? I said, how's $1 billion sound? $1 billion for Operation Pave Our Potholes. We knew that we needed to do something. I mentioned the Islanders. I was there at the opening of UBS. I think there's something special going on tonight. Isn't there not tonight? A big tribute to Mike Bossy, right? The boss. And how sad to lose him just a couple days ago. And Hall of Famer, 4-time Stanley Cup champion. And what an inspiration. What a great guy. And he was underappreciated in his time, but not by his fans. And so finally the recognition is due. He'll be missed by many people here tonight, so let's honor him this evening. And I mentioned we're going to talk about not just potholes, not just the islands, we're going to talk about your taxes, your property taxes. And so we know they're too high. And at a time when inflation just seems to be unrelenting, the cost of everything is going up, just to have a little more money back in your pocket, we are going to ensure that nearly 500,000 Long Islanders have upwards of $1,300 on average back in their pockets because they are paying too much. That's $2.2 billion that we work with your delegation to make sure that we had this relief this year. So we're going to work on that. So let's talk about other ways we can help New Yorkers. I have been to so many of your small towns and your communities. We had the Downtown Revitalization Initiative. I had a chance to go there and talk about how so many areas of our state and Long Island, the small businesses were hit so hard during the pandemic. My gosh, the restaurants and the bars and the attractions and the culturals and just the mom and pop shops that were just knocked down so hard. So we want to make sure that we continue to have relief for taxpayers, small businesses, as well as the individuals. So we are going to accelerate our middle-class tax cut. So that was supposed to happen in the future. I said the future is now. They need it in their pockets now, so let's do that. That's going to benefit over 900,000 Long Islanders, as well as support for small businesses. And then what about those gas prices? My God, we couldn't have foreseen this, but the invasion by Putin into Ukraine, had a ripple effect around the global economy, and we're paying the price now. And that's hard for small businesses and families trying to get your kid to the soccer game or trying to take a family vacation that you had put off during the pandemic, or small businesses in particular. So we decided, we could do a short-term fix. In fact, some states, only 4 states dealt with this, and I'll just give you a quick history. The state of Florida is going to suspend their sales tax on gas in October. Don't ask, you have to ask that governor. I don't know what they're thinking, but that doesn't really help anybody right here now. So we said, just at a time when the price of gas historically gets higher, let's not do it for a couple months like our neighboring state. Let's have it start when the prices go up June 1st all the way to the end of the year. So we're going to suspend the sales tax on gasoline through that time. And I understand, and we pushed our partners in county government to do the same, and so I want to thank the county officials here that did this in Nassau and Suffolk counties as well, and that's great news for Long Islanders because other parts of the state, we still need the counties to do their share as well. I mentioned small businesses. We have over $250 million to help them offset their COVID-related expenses. You think about the businesses that had to really, they had to put up all sorts of different structures. Some had to have outdoor dining. Some had to do different spacing. So we made sure that they now have reimbursement for that. So that's not a cost they have to bear themselves. But also, how else can we help our small businesses? What worked during the pandemic that people appreciated? Well, top of that list, if you ask New Yorkers, was to-go drinks. I mean, that's apparently the most exciting thing we did in our entire budget. And guess what? It went into effect immediately. So the night the budget finished, I said, okay, let's order up some drinks for my team here because they sure deserve it. So we did that. And that's going to be, we're already getting feedback. I'm already getting calls from restaurants who are just saying, you know what? That extra infusion of money helps us so much because we're still not fully recovered from the pandemic. So let's continue to focus on that. The small businesses, that's the identity of a downtown. That's the personality. That's the charm. And one of the reasons I got involved in politics was I helped my mother start a small business in a small, you think about a village, Mayor, my village was a whopping 10,000 people, so you don't compare close to your 60,000, but my whole town where I was elected was about 60,000. And businesses were taken on the chin. This was at a time of recession, a lot of industry left. And so we banded together all the small businesses in our downtown. We led this effort to try and just fight back. And so this is personal to me because I know the struggles of small business owners, and they had to put their dreams on hold during the pandemic. So let's continue to help them any way we can. But so now that we talked about, the potholes and the islanders and taxes, I think there's some other things we've done for New York as well. So my question always is, it's real simple. There's a lot of noise out there, okay, a lot of noise. I am so laser focused on answering one question, and that is what is best for New Yorkers. You focus on that, you'll get the right answer every single time. And so that's what we're focusing on at this moment. We're talking about how people had to come through this pandemic, the stress on parents, on families, on our teachers. My God, the teachers, what they had to go through during this time, our healthcare workers, our frontline workers. And you know what? Our students, a lot of students aren't the same. They had to go through so much, that isolation. I have nieces that are younger, and, just they're not the same as they were beforehand. They're not as outgoing, and there's a lot of stress when you're not around other people. You spend too much time on the social media, and it is tough on young people. All the messaging that goes out there. So we have a lot of young people that need our help, and we need mental health services in our schools when we never thought we would. There was certain kids who had needs and challenges, but now we're seeing it's much more widespread, and we need to help them recover and recover now. So we are going to continue focusing on education, and that is why we have a whopping $31.5 billion for our schools. That is the highest ever. That is a $357 million increase in aid just for Long Island alone. And also the foundation aid, which I had to settle a long-standing lawsuit to get money to high-need areas and then continue that commitment because it was owed and due to the people of the state. They did not have it until we settled this. So we're going to continue making historic investments, and I'm really proud of that. I really believe that this is where we need to spend a substantial amount of money to help our schools get back, help our teachers, and most of all, help our students. So I know that I want to give a special shout out to Regina Armstrong, the superintendent of Hempstead Schools. Regina, in 2021, you had the most improved graduation rate in the state. How do you do it? We need to know how you've done that. And I think it was 81%. Stand up and take a round of applause, because this is a very big deal. This is a big deal. At one time, it was 37%. You got up to 81%. That's extraordinary. That's extraordinary. I want that story told all over the state. I want to know how you did it, okay? Okay, write the book. Tell us how you did it. Give us the secret sauce here. So we're really proud of that, but every child deserves to live in a district with that kind of outcomes. That's who we are as a people. Those are our New York values, and I'm putting the money right there to make sure that happens. So let's help the kids. We need to have full-day pre-K for kids. Their parents need it. They need it. They need to get that support. So we're going to have over 4,300 new slots right here on Long Island alone, another $125 million. We're just getting started with that. Also, all the way from preschool to higher education, and we have outstanding educational institutions, private sector, as we mentioned, Hofstra University also investing in our SUNY and CUNY operations, another $500 million for them. We need to unleash the power of higher education. This is what transforms families' lives, and I know this because my parents at one time lived in a trailer park, and my dad worked at a steel plant. And what got them out of those circumstances that changed my whole family's trajectory? My dad getting a college degree while he was working at the steel plant, and that lifted him up. He had my little brother when he graduated. I was very much in my mother's stomach. She was expecting me upon graduation. We have great pictures, but he got through it. And when he had that degree, he could do something different with his life than just use his hands and make steel like his grandfather, his father, and everyone in our family had done. That's the power of education I want unleashed all over the state, because no child should be held back because they did not have access to education. Also, right here on Long Island, we have an opportunity to continue investing in world-class research, and this is what the companies of the future are looking for. They want to go to a place where they know that the students will be educated in state-of-the-art technologies and engineering and research, especially as we're making this a global hub for green jobs right here. So let's lean into that. So we're making Stony Brook a world-class institution, $100 million for an engineering building. Now, in the old days, engineering sounded kind of like, yeah, what is an engineer? Now we know that those are the innovators. There's so many variations of engineering, and we're going to make it a multidisciplinary program, as well as $50 million to support an artificial intelligence partnership between Cold Spring Harbor and Stony Brook as well. So again, leveraging the brilliant minds that are already here, let's pull them together, let's give them the resources, and then put ourselves back on the map. And I mentioned Hofstra University. We work closely with the REDC, with Stuart as the chair, along with Kevin Law. And I do want to say I'm really proud of you. I mean, Long Island is just, you really punch above your weight. I mean, there's a lot of people here, but when you think about, population-wise and the caliber of the educational institutions you have, they're extraordinary, and I do believe that is being discovered as we know. So how do we make higher education more accessible? Well, tuition assistance wasn't available for part-time students. You know how many students had to go to community college one semester and then the next semester take off so they can work at a fast food joint like I did for a long time, or some places to bring it, then they can make the next payment. You wonder why they don't graduate on time. They couldn't afford it. So now, it's one of those things we did in the budget, change that whole outcome for people by making tuition assistance available for part-time students, expanding the benefits to over $75,000. Also, another barrier to education, especially for women, we're now going to make sure that there's child care available on all the SUNY and CUNY campuses. So that's another change. And overall, child care, we're making a historic investment. I'm going to use that word historic a lot because it's true. $7 billion. $7 billion over the next 4 years for child care. So we're going to be adding over 430,000 new slots for kids, more than double the current amount of support they have now. So we're going to open the doors to child care for over half the children in New York State. That is transformative. That gives the parents the opportunity to have flexibility, the moms who want to get back to work, the kids who need to have that opportunity to integrate with other kids as well. So this is going to be another part of our way we're leaning into the future. We're investing in families, we're investing in opportunities for them, and helping with that child care burden is such an important part of that. I know that. I had to leave a job I loved in Washington because I didn't have anybody to watch the kids. So many years later, that's still a problem, and it should not be a problem. But also, we talk about building. Now, I must have spent a lot of time playing with Legos when I was a kid because I love to build. And $32.8 billion, a 40% increase over the last 5-year capital plan. This is going to change the whole landscape of our state, starting with infrastructure underground, on the roads, and as we rise up to the heavens. So we're going to continue this. I'm real excited about this. And Commissioner Dominguez, don't spend it all in one place now. This is a lot of money for you to be able to manage, but I know you're up to the task. You're an incredible leader, but this is the largest investment in infrastructure ever made in the history of New York State. So let's talk about $157 million to start right now. I'm impatient. I'm very impatient. Starting this spring, we're going to restore 480. We get this 480. Is this not a typo? It's a lot of miles. You need 480 lane miles right here in Nassau and Suffolk County, starting this summer, this spring. That's incredible. And we mentioned the potholes. Also, the LIE, 287 lane miles between Nassau and the Suffolk border, State Route 112. $80 million for that project. It's an average of 152,000 vehicles travel this every day. I have a lot of potholes there too. So let's go after those. Let's go after the Meadowbrook State Parkway. Let's resurface 23 lane miles between Merrick Road toward the Ocean Parkway in Hempstead. $5.6 million, and that's expected to be completed by Memorial Day this year. So a lot of good things happening soon. Now, the Southern State Parkway, 63 miles, $23 million there. That's going to be completed between now and end of 2022. Restoration of 11 lane miles between Route 231 and the State Parkway in Babylon and Islip that has over 200,000 vehicles a day. There's so much here. All I want to say is, when you see construction vehicles and you have to slow down a little bit, please don't complain. Don't complain. This is a good thing, okay? This is a very good thing. Another 30 lane miles on roads, including State Route 114, 109, 25A, 111, Sunrise Highway, North Service Road, and South Service Road. And finally, this is a mess too. I've been there many times. We're going to reconfigure the Oakdale merge because congestion is out of control. And we're going to do $30 million to begin the environmental review process because that'll reduce delays for over 126,000 commuters and cut down on all the emissions for Long Islanders in that area. So that is going to be incredible right there as well. So also, if you don't want to drive because you don't like the potholes and you're taking the train, let's complete the third track by the end of this year. Let's get that done. Let's finish the East Side access for faster commute to. I went on one of my first jobs as governor, I think it was. I was asked to go on a trial ride. Now, nobody else had tested this before. I started thinking, okay, is this a setup? Because you're not sure this is going to work, okay? But they put me on the train to go through the East Side access. It's going to be spectacular. When you come out of there, just the whole environment is so uplifting. And that's what we're doing. We're changing infrastructure to not just be a mode of transportation and get from here from there. It's about an opportunity to lift people's spirits. And that's what I want to do at places like Penn Station as well. You know, when you start your day early in the morning on Long Island after you've got the kids off to school and you're taking that train ride in, I want you to come out and look up to the heavens through beautiful glass ceilings and see art and just a whole different sense that people matter. Our commuters matter. Their experiences matter. And that's something we have control over in government. We can give you just ordinary, dull as dishwater infrastructure and it's boring and it doesn't matter, or you can do something that matters and make a statement. And this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for us to make a statement that we value the people of the state and they deserve the very best. And that's what we're going to accomplish. Also, I was there for many phases of this, but how about launching phase 2 of the $700 million state-of-the-art Ronkonkoma hub, and that is a model for the rest of the nation. I love what we're doing there. I think I saw Kevin Law out there just not that long ago, so we're going to continue focusing on this as well. So let's get those done. Let's MacArthur Airport, we got a little work to do there. Let's have a new terminal there to connect the LIR to Ronkonkoma Station, as well as Penn Station as well. So I also said, there's a lot of projects that have not been fully flushed out yet, but I know Kevin Law has them in his head because he's got these ideas, and our labor community and our partners in government. So we are going to have a fund for $350 million, and this was the result of your legislators, your senators fighting through the night to make sure that they had the ability to deliver for their residents, and we have a fund for Long Island investment, and that's going to focus on our industries like manufacturing, biotech, downtown revitalization, and educating the next generation of workers to take those good paying jobs. So let's work on that, everybody. I'm real excited about that funding as well. And I have been here for so many offshore wind announcements as Lieutenant Governor, now as Governor, and so we are We're not going to be nation leading, we are nation leading in terms of our bold vision for the future. It's not just the tens of thousands of jobs that are going to be created, it's also the whole supply system. When you know that when you look off the shores of Long Island, when the wind turbines are up, parts of that will have been manufactured up next to the Port of Albany. It's going to come down the Hudson River. Those are New York jobs all the way here to transport it. And so we can build it. We don't have to rely on Germany and other places. We're going to do it right here because I want to be self-sufficient. I don't want to rely on other parts of the globe, whether it's for semiconductor chips or anything else. We have to be independent, and this is the start of it with our own investments in every element of the supply chain for our offshore wind. So we are the offshore wind capital of the world in New York, and it's right here on Long Island. So I'm real excited about that. And so that'll power, we have 5 projects on the books right now, over $2.4 million homes. That's going to be extraordinary. How about training people to do those jobs? Okay, that's important. We can't just say, go do those jobs. There's training, there's skill involved. So we're advancing the Offshore Wind Training Institute, and that's going to be part of Stony Brook and Farmingdale as well. So then I need your help in November, everyone. You like the idea of clean air, clean water, green jobs, investing in the future. Here's the opportunity. We came forth with a $4.2 billion bond act. Bond act meaning it's going to the voters. It's going to be on the ballot this year. I need your help. And through that, we'll electrify our bus fleet. We have so many other things we're going to be able to work on, but start the initiative now. Start working right now to build up the support so this gets passed by the voters. And this will be something that your grandkids will talk about someday when we turn the corner on the mankind's assault on Mother Nature. And I'm not going to talk about man's assault on Mother Nature. I'm not going to point out anything there at all. I'm just going to say, you make the connection. It has to end. It has to end, right? It has to end. And it's going to end under our watch. This is going to be part of our legacy in our post-pandemic world, what we did. That'll be not just building back our state, but building a better future for our kids. It starts with the Bond Act and the investments that you see here in this budget. Also, this was an important issue that I heard a lot about from your members. We need to make our state safer and make our criminal justice system fairer. And we can accomplish both. This is one of the most complex issues in the budget. We were a little late toward the end there, but you know what? It was worthwhile. And I just want to put out here, when people talk about a late budget, when I was an assembly intern, you know when the budget used to show up? July, August. It was still due March 31st. So you go a couple extra days into overtime, and you get the result we got. I think everyone agreed that it was worth it. Those were important conversations to have to get the job done. We know there's been an increase in crime. People are anxious about this. It's all over the country, okay? And I've never said bail reform was the cause of crime going up in Chicago or Washington. It is not. But we have to deal with the fact that there are elements that need to be put back into bail eligibility, starting with violence offenses involving guns. Some of these were just common sense. They need to be put back in. And so we heard from a lot of very passionate voices on both sides of the debate. I respect them very much, and I believe that we've accomplished everything from closing loopholes around discovery, because a lot of cases are being thrown out for really minor reasons, and we changed that, and I know the district attorneys statewide appreciate that. We also looked at what a judge considers when setting bail. You know, the history of gun use, you should be at least considering that. That's important. The cycle of repeat offenders. I mean, a lot of our small businesses are like, come on. Every day someone walks in and they go back and they just get an appearance ticket, which is like a parking ticket. They're back out there. We had to focus on that, as well as crack down on gun trafficking, the definition of what a gun trafficker is, protect victims of domestic violence, victims of hate crimes, more resources for our district attorneys as well as our public defenders, investing in mental health as well. We have a crisis. Again, the crisis has always been there, but when you combine the effects of people being isolated from their treatment and their support system and everything they had to keep them going, all that collapsed during the pandemic. And now this is part of the cleanup. We have to help people. And so we're going to continue focusing on giving people, especially those who are homeless, but everyone who has mental health challenges, let them just have the dignity of a good, healthy life. And that's what I'm focused on as well as making sure we don't go back to an era of mass incarceration of individuals. We have to have fairness in our system. So we know how to do this. We accomplished it in this budget, and that is something that I believe is going to change people's perceptions and as well as the reality. So we put $227 million in gun violence prevention and violence disruptor programs. I convened a gathering of former members who had been incarcerated, many of them were gang members, and talked to them about programs that actually work, how you intercede, how you talk to these young people before they go too far in the wrong direction, or if they start on this, start bringing them back, let them feel that there's a better future waiting for them. So we're investing in those kind of programs. I want to invest in the ones that work. I don't want to just spread it all around. I want to say, let's identify what really works and put the real money behind those as well. So we've invested in gun violence intelligence as well, tripling our amount of money. That's intelligence sharing among police departments. In fact, in January, I put forth, first time ever, I brought together 9 states to talk about gun interdiction because we're not making those guns here. They're coming in from other states. Although the specter of ghost guns, which we banned in New York, the legislature passed a law to ban it. I signed it back in November. So they're not legal in our state, but they're showing up in our communities. So we had to bring together a consortium of people from other states, other cities, NYPD, Boston PD as well. So we're continuing to focus on identifying what people are doing and tracking them out of state before they even get here, as well as community stabilization units, and also money for communities that have been hit hard by crime because it has a ripple effect. It's not just the person who's the victim or the person who may be incarcerated. It's the whole community is paralyzed, and the children who grow up in that environment are affected. You have to deal with a holistic approach to dealing with gun violence, and so we're going to be focusing on those sources of funding as well. So we're investing in our healthcare system and teacher workforces, $20 billion in our healthcare system. Why do we need to do that? This pandemic brought our healthcare system to its knees. And very different hospitals, depending on how stable they were before the pandemic, a lot of them were really crushed. They lost revenues from elective surgeries for a long time, particularly in other parts of the state. And we lost so many healthcare workers. They're exhausted. You could see it in their eyes. They went through so much, and they just didn't understand why people just didn't do what was smart and do the right thing. And they just like, why are we going through this again? It wasn't just the first wave, it was Delta, it was Omicron. It's what we're dealing with now, these other variants. So we lost people. They just, and I understand they went through so much. But we have to rebuild, we have to invest in them. We have to give the ones who stayed a bonus so they don't go somewhere else. So that's what we're doing with our investments here as well. Also investing in our affordable housing. I mean, that's Long Island. You think Long Island? My gosh, I've heard so many stories from parents who say, my kids won't be able to afford to grow up in the community they were born in, and I want to be around my grandkids someday. But the kids are leaving. They can't afford to live here any longer, and that to me is a tragedy. So we're investing in affordable housing. We're investing in $25 billion to have 100,000 affordable housing units. Also investing in workforce development, $350 million and $450 million for investing in our downtowns as well. And we're confronting, there's so much to talk about, we're confronting our opioid crisis as well. And that is another one of those collateral effects. It was bad. It started trending downward. Because I was chair of the Heroin Opioid Task Force. I did forums right here on Long Island with your elected leaders many times. And then the numbers started going back up after the pandemic. Again, people disconnected from their support systems, their treatment, and we are going to keep reimbursements for telehealth services because people can at least connect with a therapist or a social worker or someone to help them. But we have to continue. This is something that touched my family personally. We lost a nephew just a few years ago, and the pain is still there for families who see someone spiral out of control and they can't get help. And so I want to help those families as well. So we are going to continue making investments in people and in places, as well as the future we're going to be protecting. And that's why I want to let people know when they see the size of our budget. A lot of that was one time only because we had the money from the federal government. But going forward, I also know we needed a very healthy rainy day fund. When I became governor at the end of August, I said, how much do we have in reserves if things get bad? What happens? We had 4%. All right, I said, I did 14 municipal budgets. We were told that we need to have at least 15% in reserve because you can't always count on the federal government. The leadership changes in Washington. You think we're going to keep getting that kind of money coming? No, I served in Congress with different leadership. They were not real excited about sending money to New York. So that's the world we face if things change in Washington. As well as we had historic tax receipts. We had money from Wall Street, very healthy year. With our geopolitical conflict, how do I know that Wall Street's not going to take a nosedive? So I have all these variables out there. I have to plan for the worst case scenario to make sure that after this year's budget, we can continue to balance our budgets. And we have balanced budgets through 2027, and I'm putting aside a record 15% into reserves for that rainy day fund, because I want to be self-sufficient. So that's going to prepare for rainy days, or as I come from Buffalo, the blizzard days, because it seems to have many blizzards as we do rain up there. So you have to be ready. You have to be ready. You have to be ready for anything else that could happen, another hurricane and the cleanup associated with it. Another pandemic that's resistant to all of our vaccines. If we started over from square one, I have to be ready. I have to be able to take care of the test kits and stand up to vaccination sites and help pay for nurses and doctors again. I need New Yorkers to know we are ready. We are ready because we took money aside, put it into the budget going forward, and make sure that those operating funds are going to be there for the long term. So we'll not only recover from this pandemic, we'll emerge from it stronger than before, because I have a dream. I have a dream I spoke about on my first day. I said it's not just about people coming here for the American dream like so many did, like my grandparents fleeing poverty. There's also the New York dream that once you're here, we're going to protect your rights. We honor you as individuals, and we're going to make sure that you have the best life, not just for yourselves, but for your children and grandchildren. And I believe that this budget, this particular budget, is a blueprint for that path forward. And yes, indeed, my friends, it is a new era for New York, and I thank you. Thank you. I want to welcome up Senator Kevin Thomas.
Good afternoon, everyone. Oh, come on, guys. You can do better than that. Good afternoon. All right. Thank you, Governor Hochul, for coming to my district today to update our residents on the great things we have secured for Long Island in this year's New York State budget. I'd like to also thank Mayor Hobbs for hosting us at the Village. Today, like he said in his opening remarks, he is a great partner in government, and we're going to do some great things here like we have in the past year. And my partner in crime, the Assemblywoman, we've done some great things partnering up with our school district to make sure that they get everything that they deserve. My colleagues and I, the entire Senate delegation here and the Assembly delegation, we're here today because we want to make the day-to-day lives of Long Islanders better. That is exactly what we set out to accomplish in this year's state budget. This is a victory for everyone who lives, works, and commutes here on Long Island. This budget is a victory for our students, especially the Hempstead School District. We secured an additional $400 million plus for our Long Island schools, and we expanded pre-K because our children deserve a head start and a world-class education. This budget is a victory for families. We are slashing the state gas tax to fight inflation and to provide immediate relief to hardworking Long Island families at the pump. We have also secured millions to repair over 480 miles of pavement in Nassau and Suffolk counties and improve safety and quality of life for the thousands of Long Island commuters who use these roads daily. And we're committing, like the governor said, $350 million to support projects here on Long Island. I know Kevin Law has it in his head, like the governor said, that will strengthen our local economy. This budget is also a victory for our healthcare heroes. We're introducing critical reforms to improve our healthcare system and secure better working conditions for our healthcare workers, EMTs, and first responders. This budget is a victory for our communities. The budget includes meaningful and significant changes to our public safety laws to make our communities safer, including needed changes to the state's criminal justice system. We are seeing a nationwide rise in gun violence because it has become easy and profitable for criminals to get illegal guns and smuggle them across state lines. Just a couple of weeks ago, one of my Hempstead residents, she was very young, was shot while she was playing. I promise to crack down on this so-called iron pipeline. And I'm thrilled my legislation, which I sponsored in the Senate along with my Assembly sponsor Chuck Levine, to crack down on gun traffickers, was included in the governor's 10-point plan and passed in the budget. And thank you, Linda Schulman-Beal, for everything that you do. You're an inspiration to all of us, and thank you for being by my side when I introduced this in Hempstead. We have also secured $224 million to fund bold initiatives that will strengthen the gun violence prevention efforts of law enforcement and community-based organizations. You know, I can go on and on, like the governor said, but I feel like I'm standing in the way of the governor and the assemblywoman from filling potholes on the Meadowbrook. So I'm going to close it out by just saying this. You know, the governor's State of the State address called for a new version of the American dream that she just spoke about, a better, fairer, more inclusive version that she called the New York dream. And we are delivering on that dream here on Long Island. Thank you, Governor. Thank you, Governor. Thank you, Governor. On behalf of the delegation, you have done good. Thank you, and God bless.
Please welcome to the podium Commissioner Marie-Therese Dominguez.
All right, Governor, we got our boots on. Assembly member, we're ready to go fill some potholes. Okay, I just wanted to take a really quick minute and emphasize no one can speak more articulately than Governor Hochul. But I want to underscore what she outlined today because it's so incredibly important. We use the word historic, but I want to talk about a generational investment because that's the significance of what Governor Hochul and this legislature got done this year. It is the most ambitious capital plan that the New York State Department of Transportation has ever seen. $32.8 billion over 5 years. This is truly historic. And I want to tell you, not only is it historic, it's historic at all levels. This level of investment will truly make a difference, not only for now, the number of jobs that are going to be created, the economy, and helping us drive forward, not just here in Long Island, which is critically important, but across the state. I also want to tell you, Governor, DOT's ready. We are truly ready. We're out there like we haven't been before. We're always there. We're committed. We're going to make it happen. This level of investment is truly important for the state of New York to move us not only forward economically, but literally create that next level of generational infrastructure. When we build for some of our roads, our bridges, certainly, for hundreds of years. And we want that level of strength, that level of resiliency. And that's what we have with this level of investment. So I just want to say thank you so much, Governor. I know you talk about it all the time. No one knows the potholes because you've driven them across the state. You've driven across the state more than anybody else, and I know you're coming after them. I just want you to know so is DOT, along with the pothole princess. Our forces, our contractors, everybody's going to be at it. And I just want to say thank you above and beyond for your incredible commitment to the level of investment that we're seeing here in our economy, certainly in transportation. It really is that kind of generational change that we're all looking forward to. So thank you very much.
Please welcome to the podium Ryan Stanton.
Good afternoon, everybody. Governor, congratulations on a wonderful budget. Legislature, thank you for delivering for our region. How about a round of applause for them? It's very clear this budget reaffirms their commitment to working people. If you take a look at the podium in front of me here, it talks about delivering for working families. That's what the union movement's all about. It's clear to me that's what this governor and this legislature are all about. This financial plan It maps out a future for New York that accounts for all working people. We represent the public sector, private sector, retail, building and construction trades. All of our affiliates stand to benefit from this investment. We've heard about record levels of investment in child care, education, health care, and we thank you for it. What we haven't heard about, and it's important to note because you delivered on it, is that New York State's back in the business of labor law enforcement. That sends a message to bad actors in public and private. You're on notice. You're not going to exploit our workforce, and you're not going to cheat our good businesses. This is good policy. It's good investment. It's good for people. It's good for communities. And there's one other point that I think is really important to make. You know, public sector jobs have long been a promise of opportunity for working people. They're stable careers. They provide a future for working people. Over time, the promise made to the public sector was broken. Benefits were rolled back, wages stagnated, and this budget, again, provides record investment for our local governments. It ensures that pension benefits have been restored and people are going to invest their life and their families in serving the public, and they don't have to sacrifice the financial well-being of their family. And again, we have a legislature and a governor that has the back of working people. So one more time, we say thank you. I'm just going to close with this. It's clear to our movement that you have our back. Just let it be known that we have yours.
Please welcome to the podium, Maddie Arasich.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The worst thing you could do is actually give a microphone to a labor leader. However, just about everything's been said, except thank you again. This budget at $221 billion is something that is historic, monumental, unprecedented. There's a lot of ways to describe this, but one word that really describes it is opportunity. I say that because as much as this is about infrastructure and education, there's one thing that the governor wants, and the governor wants to go ahead and expand opportunities for men and women of color to make sure that there's inclusion, diversity, and the building trades are going to step up and do exactly those things. The reason is that commitment is there with both the infrastructure, and we have the ability to now give people not middle-class jobs, but middle-class careers. And that's the whole thing. When you look at something and you say, what is the best social program? Most people say a job. My argument all the time is, it's a union job. The reason is because it gives you security, it gives you the benefits, it gives you the dignity when you retire. And everything that's mentioned in this budget is going to be transformative to communities. One of the other things that we have to mention too is, with all of the energy things that we were talking about, there was something that the governor failed to mention, which is transforming to a new energy policy. Something that is different for Long Island, something that will propel us into the future for 2050 and beyond. These are the new jobs, the new careers that will stimulate more people to go ahead and get new careers in energy, in planning, urban planning, manufacturing, construction, design. All these things are all the components to make sure that Long Island benefits completely. And when we're talking also about the infrastructure, and we're talking about that $4.2 billion referendum, that is an investment in everything. And I say everything because water is the most precious resource you have. Without that water, it makes it very difficult to do everything, which is why it's important to do the infrastructure for sewers, why it's important to go ahead and do all those things. You know, years ago, the building trades were always viewed as being at odds with environmentalists because they were out front and outspoken. I will tell you that it is completely reversed. In fact, not only are we their partners, they actually look to us for guidance sometimes. That's right, for us. And the reason is because we can supply the workforce to get the things that they want done. And without the budget that was here, it would be very difficult. So Ryan had said those words that are up on this plaque here. And I could say one thing, whether it be the capital program or the budget. If anybody tries to convince me that this is not the best process or direction for New York, you have a better chance of convincing me my hair is black. Thank you very much, Governor, and thank you for everything else.